So prior to this fight, I did a breakdown talking about Jan Blachowicz and Luke Rockhold, and I was saying that Luke Rockhold, though he should be the favorite in this fight, he was at great risk of getting knocked out by a guy like Jan Blachowicz, in part because Blachowicz actually had a 1-inch reach advantage on him, but also because Rockhold isn't an issue in past fights where he keeps his right hand down. You figured after the loss to Bisping that he might have learned, hey, maybe you got to keep that right hand up. He might have actually worked on getting better at that. That wasn't the case. Ended up getting clipped by David Branch. Ended up getting knocked out with a huge overhand by Yoel Romero. So you figured, hey, maybe that might be the fight to do it. It was over a year ago. Maybe Yoel Romero finally got him to get that right hand up, and that was not the case at all. At the end of the first round, he got dropped. He got rocked by a left hand over top of his right hand, and then he got rocked by a head kick over top of that hand as well. And right here, it's a little different because he's coming out of the clinch. But if you watch this right hand, it's not up. He never really brings it back up reflexively. He just kind of keeps it down the whole time, and it's just been costing him over and over and over again. And there it is. And one of the things that I'm seeing online, people are talking about how Luke Rockhold, his chin is gone, and Jan Blachowicz, he's really not that heavy of a hitter. For you to get knocked out by Blachowicz, that means your chin's gone. To me, that's not really what I'm seeing with this. What I'm seeing with Luke Rockhold is that he's getting blasted by incredibly powerful shots just because he's leaving the opening for him. And whether he's got a great chin or a bad chin, these are the types of shots that are going to put people out, and he's getting put out by them. So a shot like this, remember, he got rocked at the end of the first round, so he's probably still a little bit wobbly here. He's not at 100% because he took those shots at the end of the first round. And this is a hard shot. This is not a soft shot here. Watch the rotation on that. Like Jan Blachowicz, even though he is kind of moving back on it, he's got plenty of power on it. And when Rockhold keeps his hand down and he's not seeing it coming for whatever reason, I mean, that's what's going to happen to you. So Luke Rockhold ends up losing here. There's talk of him potentially getting a title shot had he won. That's obviously out of the window for Jan Blachowicz. Does he get a title shot now? I don't know that that's going to be the case. He did just lose to Thiago Santos by knockout. So for him to I mean, I guess it's tough because there really isn't anyone with a great case right now for having a title shot. You could argue that the best case right now would actually be Thiago Santos because he just lost a split decision, and you'd figure he would have done better had he not been injured. But the fact that he was injured kind of means that he's probably going to need a lot of time to heal, especially if it's a torn ACL. So it's not like he'd be back in any kind of a quick timeline to fight John Jones anyway. So even if Thiago Santos does get an immediate rematch, there's going to be a fight in between him and then the next one. That is, of course, unless John Jones suffered too big of an injury. But this right here, no, that was the end of that was the knockout. Here we go. So this is what I was talking about before, though. But the big hole that Rockhold has is he keeps that right hand down. He's been keeping it down for his whole career, and it's really been exposed in those last few knockouts. But again, look at this right hand; it's never up. It's never ready to block a punch, and that's fine if you're outside of range. But when you're in range, you got to have that thing up, or you got to be ready to put it up, and that just wasn't the case here. So again, gets caught with a left over that right hand, caught with a head kick over that right hand. He's getting caught over and over and over and over again over that low lead right hand. So for Luke Rockhold, it's crazy to me because it's like this isn't a major fix for him. Like this is something where you figure just give it some time. It's not like learning how to keep your hand up is a terribly hard thing to learn, but he just hasn't done it. I guess he just doesn't feel comfortable with it. He just likes to be able to punch the lead hand from a low angle and kind of surprise people with it, but you got to be defensively responsible too. And in those last 3 knockout losses he's had, he hasn't been defensively responsible, and it's cost him. So as far as what's next for him, I wouldn't imagine he's going to be fighting anytime soon. He usually takes about a year between fights. This probably isn't going to force him back in anyway. Plus, with that kind of a knockout, you want to take some time off. So I feel like by the time he's ready to come back, the light heavyweight landscape's going to change enough where it's hard to predict right now, or at least predict today, what a good fight for him would be. For Jan Blachowicz, maybe the title fight is there. I'm not sure that Chris Weidman has an opponent yet. So depending on how Blachowicz is feeling right now, maybe he goes in and takes out another middleweight champion and then earns a title shot that way. Maybe he just has to fight someone else like an Anthony Smith that's towards the top of the division and just keep moving along that way. But either way, this is a tough loss for Rockhold. It's kind of one of those things where if it happens to you once where you get knocked out with that low lead hand, okay, maybe you should learn. You get knocked out twice, okay, you really should learn. But if you get knocked out a third time, it's like I just have a hard time believing he's going to learn. So unfortunately for Rockhold, everyone who fights him moving forward knows this is going to be an issue for him. He's not doing anything to fix it. So whether it's a guy like Jan Blachowicz or whether it's a guy who's higher up in the division like a John Jones, you figure he's going to keep getting caught over and over if he keeps leaving this opening. So I'd like to see better from Rockhold. I know he's a great fighter. One more thing I wanted to mention, though. Joe Rogan had a really bad night tonight, and it was really obvious in the first round of this fight. So Rockhold goes in and gets him up against the cage, and he starts working on a takedown. He's trying to take him down against the cage early, and the entire time that he's doing it, Joe Rogan is just bitching and moaning. Oh, Jan Blachowicz, he's a good grappler. Why not stay standing with Blachowicz? Why not stay standing? You have the edge on the feet. Blachowicz is really good on the ground. And for one, obviously, we know in hindsight why not stay standing with Jan Blachowicz. Well, what's going on the screen is why not stay standing. But beyond that, Luke Rockhold is a high-level black belt, and he's exceptionally good on top, especially if he's able to get past a guard. He's incredibly hard to get out of mount. If he mounts you, you're pretty much stuck there. If he gets your back, you're pretty much stuck there. I mean, we see guys like Dave Branch, who's a very, very good black belt, who just got obliterated on the ground once Rockhold got him there. So for Joe Rogan to be like, why would he try to take down Jan Blachowicz? I don't understand what Joe Rogan was thinking for him to make that complaint. I think if anyone was watching that and they agree with Joe Rogan, you're also missing the point. I think it was actually a very good idea for Luke Rockhold to try to take Blachowicz down. I think if he actually was able to take Blachowicz down, especially that early in the round, he could have done a lot of damage. And if he went to finish the fight, he could have at least put Blachowicz in a position where he had to really be careful about what he does on the feet later on, just because he doesn't want to get taken down again. But Blachowicz was able to defend well and never got taken down. And from there, just did not go well for Luke Rockhold.